Good evening and welcome to News Channel 8. I'm Jerome Aegean, and here's some of the top stories we have for you tonight. 2 murder suspects are arrested on St. Croix. Governor John DeYoung holds a press conference on health, and the lionfish epidemic grows on St. Croix. These stories and more are up next on News Channel 8. In our top story tonight, 2 suspects are in custody for the murder that occurred behind Evelyn Williams School last month. News Channel 8's Wes Small has the story.
Thanks a lot, Jerome. We are behind Evelyn Williams, and we are looking at that May 13th homicide that took the life of 22-year-old Luis O. Encarnacion. You might remember that. Like less than 100 feet from Evelyn Williams School up in here in Paradise. And these bushes here, we believe there was horse stables here. Remember Deputy Chief Howell talking to us about that in that media press conference as they found that 22-year-old's body early in the morning. All right, now that's when police believed that he was shot and killed back in that area. We believe there was horse stables back there. Now the surrounding community told me at that time that they had been trying to get the brush removed from this area, but as you can see from the cameraman as he pans around, not much has been done here. The infrastructure looks pretty sad around Evelyn Williams, and the neighborhood is really crying for help to get these bushes cut down so criminal activity could be alleviated. They believe that could have contributed to the death of 22-year-old Luis O. Encarnacion. Well, now the VIPD, on search warrants that they made early this morning, have arrested these 2 suspects, Gillian Harper, better known as Tiba. Gillian Harper, better known as Tiba. And apparently he was born in 1978. That would make him roughly 32 years old. Then we have, and he, by the way, he is from Paradise Mills. Another warrant was issued for Khalik Flanders, better known as Smoke Dog. He was born in 1988. That would make him roughly 22 years old. Both of these men are being held on $500,000 bail, $500,000 bail, first-degree murder, conspiracy, also reckless endangerment, unauthorized possession of a firearm within 100 feet of a school, which is this school, Evelyn Williams School. So we do have 2 suspects in custody again. Gillian Harper, better known as Tiba. Khalik Flanders, better known as Smoke Dog. There you have it. 2 suspects are in custody, that for the murder that happened here on May 13th. In the state Paradise, I'm Wes Small for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Wes. And in other news, the Virgin Islands Governor John DeYoung held a press conference earlier today to address the healthcare situation in our territory. News Channel 8's Lee Carl files this report from St. Thomas.
This is the reform timeline the governor was talking about in this creation of a health reform implementation task force. We covered a lot of areas here, Medicaid and the concerns with a combination of working with Alabama, I believe, a number of other states. So with a delegate in the mix, the governor outlined for us, rather complicated, but it's something that had to be said, and that is how this health reform task force will work.
The timeline in the slide right next to me shows that these things will be implemented, what the time frame is for implement them under the new law. In addition to these very important insurance reforms, the law provides for the largest increase in federal health care funding for the territory in history. In short, the law creates unique and unprecedented opportunities for the Virgin Islands to improve our health care system. The Act will provide an additional $280 million in federal funding for our Medicaid program during the 9-year reform period, which is fiscal year 2011 to 2019, beyond the level of funding that we would have received under pre-reform law. We will be able to use this additional federal funding to provide health insurance coverage and health care to thousands of our most needy and vulnerable citizens. Perhaps even more important, once wisely administered, the Act will place the territory in a path towards parity with Medicaid systems in the U.S. by the end of the reform period in 2019. Specifically, the Act will provide the following: $255 million more in federal funding for our Medicaid program. And if children's health insurance payments continue, some $20 million more for our children's health insurance program. An increased federal match for Medicaid from 50% to 55% starting July 1, 2011. This means that for every dollar spent on Medicaid enrollees, we will receive 55 cents from the federal government and not the 50 cents we currently receive.
In St. Thomas at Government House, Lee Carl for News Channel 8.
Thanks, Lee Carl. And it's Crime Stoppers Wednesday. Time to check in with Miss Judy Fricks.
I'm Judy Fricks with your weekly Crime Stoppers report. Crime Stoppers is asking your help to solve the following crimes. If you know something, say something. On St. Croix on Friday, May 21st at 3:15 a.m., VIPD responded to a shooting incident near Building 25 in the Lorraine Village apartment complex. While investigating, officers found a 26-year-old man on the ground with a gunshot wound to the back. The victim was conscious, but unable to provide information on the shooter. The minimum reward for an arrest in this case is $892. Tell the perpetrators that you want this senseless activity stopped by telling us what you know. On St. John, on Tuesday, June 1st, in the area of 7B Susannaburg, burglars entered a house by prying open a door. A PlayStation 3 and cash were taken. The minimum reward for an arrest is $714. Please, tell us what you know. On St. Thomas, on October 31st, 2009, at about 9:20 p.m., police responded to shots fired in the area of Tutu by the intersection of the one-way road out of Oliver School. Upon arrival, police made contact with the gunshot victim, Randy Francis, who later died. Mr. Francis was in the public street when he was shot. The minimum reward for an arrest in this case is $1,071. Help VIPD find the killer or killers. Community members can submit tips on these or any other crimes at www.crimestoppersusvi.org or by calling 1-800-222-TIPS, which is 8477. Your tips are completely anonymous and the stateside operators are bilingual. This has been your weekly Crime Stoppers report.